Good evening. I'm Sanat Anand of class 11G and I'm a student of Miss Mriganka Chaudhary, my legal studies teacher. Today we have with us Advocate Vaishali Deshpande, who has been practicing law for 28 years and has done her BSc and LLB from Delhi University and further her diploma in child rights from NLU Bangalore. Her area of specialty is child rights. She has served as a magistrate to the Child Welfare Committee along with magistrate to the Juvenile Justice Board. Additionally, she has authored a handbook on the POCSO Act and imparts training to students and teachers on the same. Finally, she has been an active part of our anti-bullying committee at our school, Birla Vidyaniketan. Very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you so much, Sanat, for having me for this interview, and it's really a pleasure to to be with children. I really love children. I really want them to grow, and wherever as a legal advice, wherever my legal advice is needed, I'll always be there with you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm glad to have you. So, shall we proceed with the interview?
Yeah, please.
Yes. So my first question is that under the POCSO Act, if an adult engages in sexual intercourse with a child, it is clearly defined as rape. There are provisions to define that with utmost clarity. But my question is towards minors engaging in sexual intercourse. Because from my research, I came across an incident that took place in a Kanpur village, where a 16-year-old girl raped a 10-year-old boy, and the situation was so extreme. It was so extreme that he actually bled. And upon the police arriving at the scene, while they were investigating, they were puzzled as to which clause or section to file this incident under. Because, and also, there is no, through my research, there is absolutely no solid proof that this incident was even filed under POCSO. So my actual question to you is that from your rich experience, should there be any specific clause should there be such any specific clause dealing with such cases rather than it just being a, a random case, like a case of circumstance where the discretion of a judge and the lawyers is required?
Okay, so Sanad, your question is very valid, and with the earlier laws which we had, so the earlier laws did not differentiate gender very clearly. So now POCSO Act has firstly become gender neutral in the sense a boy also can be raped and the boy will also get justice regarding that, and the perpetrator of the crime can be anybody. It can be a child, it can be a male also, it can be a female also. And as regards crimes committed by children, so if you remember in recent years we had this Nirbhaya Kand. So during the Nirbhaya Kand, one of the major crimes, major heinous crimes which had been committed was by a child in conflict with law or a juvenile. So,
Yes.
yeah. So this juvenile, because at that time the Juvenile Justice Act, there is another law relating to children which is called Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act. At that time, it did not give a, like the punishment was not very stringent for such kind of offences. Thereafter, this law was amended and Juvenile Justice Act, Care and Protection 2015 was had come into play, and which differentiated between crimes committed by children like above 15, above 16, and offences are categorized into heinous, serious and petty. So this the particular incident which you are talking about, now POCSO being there, it being gender neutral, the perpetrator can be anybody. It can be a male, it can be a female. So it will come under POCSO Act. And the second point, because the victim can be also, the victim is also gender neutral. It is just defined. POCSO Act just defines child. It does not differentiate a girl or a boy. So the boy will also be covered under POCSO Act. And under the Juvenile Justice Act, a child in conflict, this girl will be a child in conflict with law because she has committed a heinous crime. And she being 16 years of age, a preliminary assessment into her mental status also can be considered whether she had the understanding to understand the consequences of her acts or not. So, and whether she should be tried as an adult or not. So, these are the recent amendments which have come up regarding to the age of the child who has committed crime.
Ma'am, thank you so much for your answer. Now, moving on to the second and final question.
Yeah.
POCSO is meant to benefit the aggrieved child or the victim who has to go through a specific trauma. And out of its many eminent features, some of the features which I found were one was speedy delivery of justice, where the case is to be disposed of within 1 year. And the second one was that the statement or the testimony of the victim has to take place within 30 days. And this is done to make the process simple and easy for the child, for so that the child also feels comfortable in explaining his or her grievance in the presence of a guardian or a parent, and also where the investigation is not where the person who's asking the questions doesn't just hound at the child, especially especially they try to make it in such a way where the opposition also doesn't hound at the child. And my question is that, is the ground reality actually close to the actual provisions mentioned in the act? Or because POCSO is supposed to be a safeguard for children, where it can shield a child from the horrors of sexual abuse? So that is my question.
Yes, see, POCSO Act specifically provides for the procedure and powers of the special court and recording of evidence. And before even the trial begins, the safeguards are provided. Definitely, but yes, somewhere, some, like loopholes can creep in, some advantages can be taken by the accused also, but yes, definitely safeguards are definitely provided. Now if we take up the situation where the child first time comes to the police station or has to report the matter, so the police is also trained in this regard, that how they have to deal with the child, how they have to deal with the parents also, and a counselor is also there immediately when the child has to report about the offense. The counselor comes into to the picture, and like with the counseling, that counselor is able to like reassure the child, is able to settle the traumatized child. And then the child is also taken to the child welfare committee. So child, because many a times the child is a child in need of care and protection. CW, Child Welfare Committee specifically deals with children in need of care and protection. So if required, the police can take the child to the Child Welfare Committee also, where the bench of magistrate, there are 5 members in that, with one including one chairperson. They deal with this child. If the child is very, very traumatized, if the perpetrator of the crime is in the family itself, the child can be placed in a special home also, so that the child gets the is given the complete care. And if the child has child's education, or the child has suffered any other trauma or any injury, that is itself that is also taken care by the child welfare committee or the appropriate government. And of course money थोड़ा सा फिर उसमें नहीं लगता है, अगर वो तो पेरेंट पे होता है, that if they want to spend on the child. Otherwise the special homes for the children which have been created, there they are given complete proper treatment, they are given proper care, and they are given counseling from time to time. If the child's education has been hampered, the child's education is also resumed. If vocational, the children are given vocational training or any other assistance, whatever is required. Now thereafter, when the trial begins, also begins, if the child is in the special home, then it is the responsibility of the special home or the counselor or the caretaker of that home to take care of the child. and CWC, of course, is also there in the picture. Then we have support persons also. POCSO Act also specifically talks about the role and responsibilities of a support person. So the support person, again, they provide counseling, they work for the child's rehabilitation, they work for the child's vocational training, wherever, like, so that the child, when the child attains at the age of 18 years, is able to, like, stand on its feet, make a life for itself, is able to get out of that trauma. Now, when we come to the point of the trial in the court,
Yes.
when trial in the court also happens, it also happens very, very, like, in a safe manner, and the child does not need to see the accused at any time. The government has provided vulnerable witness rooms also, where whenever the trial happens, so it's like a separate room from the courtroom, and the child is made to sit there along with the guardian or along with the support person is also there. Then lawyers from Delhi Commission of Women are also there to support the child, and the questions are put by the judge to the child. So, like, if the lawyer or the defense counsel puts up the question, so the question is put to the judge, is informed to the judge, then the judge asks the question to the child, so that, like, the child does not feel traumatized, and the child does not see the accused at all. If required, the accused is shown through a camera, maybe like on the screen, it's shown that ways. So when the child does not come in face to face with the accused, definitely the child feels much more relaxed and does not need to go through the trauma. But yes, definitely, Sanad, somewhere some incidents can happen, which even with a lot of due diligence also, it could happen that the accused is able to approach the child, try to intimidate, try to harass, try to, frighten the child, so that the child does not give the testimony against the accused. But yes, courts are definitely becoming much aware of this aspect also, and taking wonderful care of the children, and ensuring that their testimony happens in a free, in a free environment, and they are not they do not turn hostile in that regard because of fear.
Right. And just one more thing I would like to add to the question is that it's often said that justice delayed is justice denied. With what was previously mentioned, that the case is to be disposed within just a year's time, then it's often happened that the case takes too long. The case is actually rushed because there's an abundance of cases to be handled. Because I think today's time there's a lot more crime happening against children because of how society is also developing, how people are being brought up, and how they take advantage of children.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much for your answers, ma'am. It was really enlightening to have this conversation with you, and this conversation is actually, no, not actually, it has truly enriched the little knowledge I had on POCSO. So I'm very grateful for this experience.
Thank you so much, Sanat, for this opportunity to again be with you people, to again share my experience with you, so that children are safe. Important is children are safe, and wherever required, this awareness should be there with children, that law is there with you, your parents are there with you, your teachers are there with you, law is there, the courts are there with you, so you need not fear anything. If anything happens, please come and say it very, very openly about it. Don't feel shy about it. There's nothing wrong. You have not done anything wrong. It's the person who has done wrong is the wrong person.
Yes, ma'am. It's truly important to be acquainted with such knowledge in today's time. I 100% agree.
And POCSO, because people are now much more aware of POCSO Act. So with passage of time, I'm sure nobody will indulge in these kind of activities with children and leave a child traumatized. I'm sure that time will definitely come one day.
Yes, ma'am. I also truly hope it does come.
Yes, it will.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Sandra,
you.
and all the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.